Good morning. Welcome to Gateway. We are glad you're with us this morning. Whether you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, welcome to Gateway Church Online. This is week 2 of our series, The Time Is Now. And I wanted to say a special welcome. If you're here, maybe this is your first week with us, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. I'm going to put a picture on the screen, and you can look at the QR code. There's a QR code next to me. And if this is your first time, you can put your phone, you open your camera up and just look at that. It'll prompt you to open up a link on your phone, and you can fill out a connection card. You can use this link to put a prayer request in there for us, or you could even give online through this link as well. If that doesn't work for you, if you're maybe on your phone right now, there'll be a link down below that you can use. But it would be great, if this is your first time, fill out a connection card online. Let us know that you were here so we could reach out to you this week and just say, hey, welcome, we're so glad that you're here. Maybe answer some questions that you have, and then make sure you have all the information that you need. Open the lines of communication, that's all. So welcome, we're so glad that you're here. And then also, if you've been here forever, you know those prayer requests, we pray over those every single week. It is our honor to pray for you, whatever you're going through. So please use that, and we'll see those this week, okay? I wanted to give you a quick update real quick. I did this, I believe, a little bit last week. I'm going to do it again this week. But Matt Hearn, I want to address what's going on with him. A couple weeks ago, Lori and him put something on Facebook letting all of us know that they have called in hospice. And any treatments at this point that they could do have been done. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. What that doesn't mean is he has days or maybe even weeks. We are praying. I want to make sure that we all are focused and we know how to pray for Matt and the family. He has went through this T-cell therapy at the end of the year, this past year. And the T-cells are attacking the cancer. And so our prayer is that the T-cell therapy that he went through, that works faster than the cancer works. That is how we all need to focus our prayer, just so that we're on the same page and have all the information. I'm speaking with Matt just about every single day. He's still very much part of the church and, in the decision-making process and all that stuff. So just know that he is praying for you, and he definitely welcomes your prayers for him. So if you have any other questions, please contact me directly. We can put my email down below, I believe, but sam@gatewaypooler.com is my email address. So if you have any questions, please send them to me. I'll be happy to answer them if I can. But I just want to make sure that we have all the information and we know how to pray. So thank you. Okay, so as we get started with our series, week 2, like I said, of The Time Is Now, I wanted to quickly bring us up to speed from where we started, or where we were last week. Okay, so we're in the book of Haggai, and if you have a Bible app or online, BibleGateway.com is a good resource. You can follow along with us, but we're looking at Haggai. We'll start in chapter 1 today, but here we go. Solomon built this amazing temple in Jerusalem, and it was amazing. I mean, it was gold and silver and bronze, and it was just a massive structure. People from all over the world came around to see what God was doing there and to look at it and to worship there because it was so magnificent, right? Well, Solomon passed away. He died, and the people of Israel slowly kind of drifted away from God, right? And so God did something. He had to do some things to grab their attention, because we'll learn here in just a minute how integral this temple was in God's plan. And so it had to be rebuilt. But it was destroyed. The people were in captivity for about 50 years since the destruction of the temple. But then the king allows 50,000 people to come back to Israel and rebuild the temple. Those 50,000 people, a lot of them are working on it, but they face opposition and they stop. They don't work on the temple for 14 years, and they actually build their own houses, build comfortable lives for themselves, and that's where Haggai comes on the scene. God sends the prophet Haggai to come and encourage, he's given the word from the Lord to the people to encourage them to continue to rebuild the temple after they stopped. Okay, they got like the foundation and maybe a couple other little things done. So here's where we pick up. Haggai chapter 1, verses 13 and 14. Here we go. Then Haggai, the Lord's messenger, gave this message of the Lord to the people. I am with you. So this is directly, he's saying, listen, this is what God told me to tell you. I'm with you. God is with you, declares the Lord. So the Lord stirred up in the spirit of Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, you do better, the governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, son of Josedek, the high priest, and the son of the spirit of the whole remnant of the people. They came and began to work on the house of the Lord Almighty, their God. So he stirred up. He motivated. This is your win one for the Gipper. This is your you will not take my freedom speech, right? It's your Braveheart speech. He got them going, and they got motivated, and it worked for about 30 days. So 30 days later, there's this festival going on, and they gather at the temple, and they see the progress, and it's not great. It doesn't look. They're kind of remembering what it used to look like, and this isn't it. And they're a little disappointed, and they stop again. They stop building because of this disappointment. Now remember, they're remembering what it looked like, okay? It was gold and silver and bronze, and it was amazing looking. But God's instructions, we learned this last week, his instructions were very plain. He said, go to that mountain, cut down some trees, go get the timber, come back and build my temple. That was it. He didn't say, go find all the gold, go find the silver and the bronze, rebuild it like it was before. No, he said, go cut the trees down, bring them down here, and build my temple. That was it. And so that's what they were told to do. The people were sitting there, they're like, but is this it? Like, surely this isn't God's plan, right? And so they're discouraged, and they stop. Now, how often do we do this in our person? We can look at a story like that and be like, I can't believe, God just told them to do this. How often do we do this, right? So I was thinking about this story a long time ago, when I was younger. Katie decided she wanted to do P90X. Okay, I think you could probably remember when this was popular and going all around. Well, she was doing P90X, right? And I saw that. I was like, you know what? I could do that. So I kind of decided I should probably do that, join my wife and try to be a little healthier, right? And get some exercise. So I went out. I bought some workout shorts. I bought the dry fit shirts, I bought some shoes. I bought a fancy water bottle because, we're doing this in the living room and I can't just use the cups that we have, right? So I bought a water bottle. Like, I'm all ready. I got all the gear. And I finally decide, okay, today's the day that I start. So if you're familiar at all with P90X, at the beginning of the program, there's what they call the fitness test, okay? So it's basically, you're going to see how many push-ups you can do, how many sit-ups, different things like that. And then you'll do it again later to see how far you've progressed. You're getting in shape, so you started at this level, you should be at this level now, in a couple of weeks. So that's what we did. Now, I was I don't think that I'm like crazy competitive, but when it comes to physical challenges, I'm going to beat you, right? In my head, I'm just like I was when I was 18 years old. I can do it. So we get ready, right, for the fitness test. And I think the first thing was push-ups, right? And so I get down, I'm ready, and I do the exact number of push-ups that the trainer in the video did. And then we had to pause the video, and I just about threw up. Because, it was everything. He's not even sweating. He's ready to move on to the next thing. I had to pause it and stop. And then 20 minutes later or so, when I was ready to go to the next thing, we unpaused the video, and we did sit-ups. And again, I did every single one that the trainer did. Matched him, sit-up for sit-up. And then I puked, right? All over. And, and then I was like, oh, man. Okay, so pause the video. I'll regain. I'll get a drink. Everything will be fine. We'll go on to the next thing. Well, the next thing, I couldn't start again until Katie did CPR. And so, it killed me. And then I remembered that I had already decided how much I hate exercise. And so, it's dumb. And I stopped. Because I couldn't do it as good as they could do it. Without dying for a long time, right? I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up. And it was discouraging to me. Because I'm, in my head anyway, this is why I don't ever do it, because I'll prove myself wrong, but in my head, I'm in shape, and I'm strong. I should be able to do just like what they're doing, right? Which doesn't make any sense. I get it. But I stopped. It lasted one day. I don't like working out. I don't like it. I'll play basketball. I'll play soccer. I'll do something like that. But I just don't want to sit there and do push-ups and sit-ups, and it's frustrating. Because, there's always somebody that can do it better. And so I don't do it. I didn't do it. Those shoes now that I bought are now my yard work shoes, and they are very comfortable for cutting the grass in. But we all have these things, right? We all have these things that we're motivated, right? We got that win one for the Gipper, that Braveheart speech. We get motivated. We're ready. Here we go. Like, we're going to tackle debt. You know, we're all ready. Maybe we get our spreadsheets, or we get, we get our envelope system ready. If you're the Dave Ramsey fan, whatever it is, we're going to tackle debt. We're going to get on a budget. And we're going to be so debt-free and generous, and, it's going to be amazing. And then Christmas comes, I forgot. It's like, this snuck up on us, right? Or maybe it's, getting in shape, losing weight, that kind of stuff. And then, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's Tuesday for me, I didn't see it coming, right? Whatever. Something will come along, we'll get discouraged, and we stop. Well, this is exactly what happened here with the Israelites. Maybe we didn't get the results that we wanted. We get discouraged and we quit. Or maybe we didn't get the results that we've seen other people get, and we get discouraged and we quit. This is exactly what happened to God's people. And here we have in chapter 2, verse number 3, we have Haggai trying to empathize with the people. He's like, I get it, you guys. Here's what it says in verse 3. Who of you is left who saw this house in its former glory? Who remembers? We've been in captivity for about 50 years. And Haggai here is about 75 years old. So he's probably 15 or so, 25. Math is easy. When during this time. And so he's like, hey, who of you are with me? You remember what this used to look like, right? And then he says, how does it look now to you? Does it not seem to you like nothing? He's like, we saw this before. We remember what it looks like. And now it looks like nothing, right? We're all on the same page here. So here's what we have. We have two causes of discouragement today. And this is it. Comparison and a lack of progress. Now, there's probably a lot more causes of discouragement, but these are two that we're going to talk about today. Comparison and a lack of progress. They were comparing where they were to somebody else's finish. They're just getting started, but they were comparing to somebody else's finish. Now, this temple will later, under Herod, be remodeled, and it will become something pretty amazing, even better than Solomon's. But they were comparing where they were now, their start, to somebody else. Just like with the P90X videos. I was comparing where I was now to somebody else who's been working out their whole life. And that wasn't me. But that's what we do. We compare our Facebook life versus somebody else's Facebook life. Even though we know that's a highlight reel, it's all fake. Or our Instagram life to somebody else's Instagram life. We know that's a highlight reel. We know they're not constantly on vacation and their kids aren't constantly behaved, right? We know this isn't reality, but this is what we post online. Oh, look, Junior just made another rocket. He's a rocket surgeon again, No, that's not how it works, right? A couple of months ago, there was a week at our kids' school where they had to dress up different every day of this week. And, Katie and I, we both work, and it was a busy week, and we try to look at these things and get ahead and be prepared, but, things happen, and I don't want to have to buy a different outfit for every single day of the school so the kids can be the best looking people there. So here's what we had. Day one might as well have been, find a pair of Dad's old socks with no holes in them today. That, the paper they sent home could have said that right there, because that's what we did. Day two might as well have been hot glue some ripped up pieces of paper to a red shirt day. Right? Because we nailed it, if that's what it was. Lesson learned, though, when hot gluing pieces of paper to a shirt, make sure you do this before you put it on your child. I'm just, you're welcome for that bit of information. Now, then Katie and I go look on Facebook and we see, a lot of you guys we all go to the same schools, or you're in Effingham and they were doing something, similar. And we see your custom embroidered, custom ordered, awesome outfit that you got on your, and we're like, that's frustrating, right? We're busy. We did the best that we could, and here we go. This is what we do. We compare and we get discouraged. Now, obviously this story was just for the sermon because ours was awesome. We used props and all kinds of stuff, and I'm just kidding. No, ours was literally hot glued stuff to a shirt. But But we can compare, right? And we can get discouraged. Man, I wish my kid's outfit could look like that, or I wish I had the time or the money or the resources, the creativity, whatever. We compare what somebody else is doing, and we get discouraged. We try and we try, but it's difficult to keep going, right? Sometimes in some of the things that we're doing, it's difficult because we're looking around at what's going on. We're looking at where we are now based on where somebody has been that's been working on the same thing for years and years and years, right? That's what happens. We try and we try. We see where others are. We get discouraged. I'm working so hard and I'm trying to ask myself, is it worth it? Is it worth it in my marriage to keep working on it? My kids won't listen. They have no respect. They're going the wrong direction. Is it worth it for me to keep fighting this battle? Is it worth it? Keep loving my neighbor like I know that I should be doing, but it's so difficult because they're so mean. I was going to say a lot of other words there, but I'm not, because I'm a preacher now, apparently. So we all have doubts. We all get discouraged at times. Now, I'm going to let you in a little bit. Now, I'm not doing this for, that you got this, man, you can do this, attaboy. I'm not doing that for that. I have a great support system. But I just want to let you know where I suffer or struggle with this in my own personal life. And to let you know that, we all of us don't have this figured out, right? My job, I'm a pastor here at Gateway, right? And it's a sometimes can be kind of a public job. I'll tell you, I work really hard during the week to prepare messages on Sundays. And, oftentimes I watch other messages too because I need to hear preaching myself. And it's also, I hear other communication styles, and it's just a way to kind of, hone this gift that I'm trying to work on. But I do that, and it's easy for me to say, man, I'll never be that good. I'll never be able to do it like that. But I work really hard during the week to prepare for Sundays. And then after I give the message, it's really easy for me to say, man, I completely blew that. I didn't say these things that I needed to say. I forgot to say this. I said that wrong. Like I said Moses instead of Noah. And, I just messed up dates. And, I do that kind of stuff all the time. I had all of these jokes. Nobody laughed at them. Obviously, I made that one up. You guys laugh at all my jokes. But, it's easy for me to look back when it's just done. Like, it's out there. It's done. I can't go back and think about all the things that I missed and look at other pastors and how they're doing. And man, I'll never be like that. Right? That's easy. Or look at our church, this congregation, this organization that we have, and say, man, why aren't we as big as these people? Or why aren't we doing all the things in the community that these guys are doing? Or, I wish that we were bigger and better and all the stuff that other people are doing. You can look at people's highlight reels and you can get discouraged by that. We all see this in our personal lives, right? Compare myself to other people. Compare Gateway and where we are and my leadership and the lack of leadership to other leaders. We all struggle this from time to time, if we're honest. So what does God tell the Israelites as they are discouraged about the progress of the temple? Now listen, I'm going to be honest. We've just talked about this. It wasn't that great. Okay, they're remembering gold and silver and bronze and these huge columns and this massive structure. And now they have a pile of wood, like in the shape of a square. It's not that great. This is the reality. From the outside looking in, it's not that great, right? So what does God tell them? He says, listen, I told you to go to the mountain, cut down the wood, bring it here, and stack it up. Like, that's it. It was simple. So we can't miss that. Okay, so when we look and compare to other people, when we just said, one of the biggest attributors to discouragement and quitting is comparison. But God had told them what to do. And he tells us what to do. And if we do that, that's it. We got to stop looking at what other people are doing and comparing to someone else's finish when we're just getting started. We got to stop that. God was very clear. Go to the mountain, bring down the timber, and build the temple. That's it. Stop comparing. But God is a little more patient than I am, I guess. Right? So here's what he says. In Haggai 2:4, he says, but now be strong, Zerubbabel, declares the Lord. Be strong, Joshua, son of Jozadak, the high priest. Be strong, all you people of the land, declares the Lord, and work, for I am with you, declares the Lord God Almighty. He said, work, for I'm with you. Be strong and work. They were getting discouraged. They had stopped again. And he says, no, listen. I've told you what to do. Be strong and work, because I'm with you. Don't miss that. So what do we take away from this? What do we do when we get discouraged? Be strong and do the work. Well, of course, that's easier said than done. Be strong, do the work. But it's easier said than done if we're just, hey, on my own strength, I got this. But he says, I'm with you. I'm with you. Jesus teaches us that when we're weak, this is where God can come through and show his strength. Where we are weak, this is where God can shine. Yeah, we can't do it ourselves. There's some really difficult things that we have to walk through, and we cannot get through them by ourselves. But be strong, do the work, because the Lord is with you. We cannot forget that. Don't worry about what it used to look like. Don't worry about what you think it should look like. He said, go to the mountain, bring down the timber, and build my house. God told us, close the doors of Gateway, go online, prepare for what I'm going to do on the other side of this. I don't like it. Like, it used to be a lot more fun. We used to have, a whole band up here getting ready and pumping up the crowd before I would come up. But God said, go online and prepare for what I've got for you on the other side of this. Go to the mountain, bring down the timber, and build my house. Close the doors, go online, prepare for what I have on the other side of this. God told Solomon, build this amazing temple. Use gold, silver, and bronze. God told that guy to buy that house. He told that girl to buy that car. He told him to take that job. What is he telling you? What is he telling me? What are we supposed to do as individuals? God told us to close the doors, go online, prepare for what he has for us on the other side. I cannot compare what other churches are doing. He told me to do the things that he told me to do. He's telling you to do the things that he's telling you to do. We have to stop comparing to what other people are doing. God told someone else to do these things. He told us to do what he told us to do. So we've got to stop looking at what other people are doing around us for our direction. Okay, this is the level that I should be at. This is where I should be. This is what I should be doing. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm fitting in here with what's going on. No, God said, stop looking at what's going on around you for your direction and start looking at me. Stop looking at the media for your direction, for what you believe and what's going on. Stop looking at the media, stop looking at social media, and start looking at me, God. Stop looking around. Stop trying to convince those around you that they should be doing what you're doing. Stop trying to convince those around you they should believe like you believe and make the decisions that you're making. Because what God tells you to do may not be what God tells somebody else to do. We have to stop looking and making decisions based on what's going on around us and start looking to God and make decisions based on what God wants us to do. His plan is so much better. It's so much better, and it's so much better suited for us as individuals. Better suited for us than anybody else's plan. And by the way, anybody else's plan that God may or may not have told them. Like, they may be just acting totally on their own, not listening to God at all. And you're following that. And I do the same thing. I'm not just saying you. I do the same thing. Sometimes we get caught into following something that we have no business following. Looking at for direction, something that we have no business looking at. But it's hard. Yeah, it is. Here's what Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. In all your ways submit to him, to God. He will make your paths straight. Not in all your ways submit to social media or what the news says or the way that the election goes. That's not what he says at all. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. We're not looking to anybody else for the direction, for what path we need to be taken and how to get there. We look to God. But it's hard, yeah. Sometimes it's hard. But here's what it says in 2 Corinthians. And this is where it starts to get really good, right? My grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness. How can I boast? How can I be proud of? How can I be happy with where I'm weak? This doesn't make any sense. Here's how. So that Christ's power may rest in me. Because the only way that we can allow Christ's power to rest in me is because, you know what? I acknowledge I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the strength that I need. I need Christ to come alongside, to come along with me and lead me and help me through some things. So I can be okay with where I'm weak because that's where I see God work. It's so important that we cannot miss this. So I'm all the more gladly, I boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest in me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. Let me read that again. Hold on. I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Because it's not me who's strong. It's God working through me. So how can I be okay with my weaknesses? Because that's where God works. And if every time we're too weak to do something, we cannot walk through this and we stop and we go the other direction, we will never see God work in our lives. The only way is to push through. There's opposition. God says, be strong, do the work. Be strong, do the work. But I can't. You're right, you can't. But with God's help, that's where you see God shine through. That's where you see God come alongside, pick you up and carry you. That's the only way, is if we be strong and we do the work. So whatever God has told you to do, be strong and do the work. Galatians 6:9 says this, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. At the proper time, we will reap the harvest if we do not give up. Don't give up. Be strong. Do the work. So going back to the temple, here's what it says. Man, it's a pile of logs. A pile of logs. Haggai 2:9 says this, the glory of this present house will be greater. It's a pile of logs. The glory of this present house will be greater than the former house, says the Lord Almighty. And in this place I will grant peace, declares the Lord Almighty. This place, the glory in this place is going to be greater than that old place that you guys keep looking at and comparing to. Stop looking and comparing to that. I'm going to do so much more in this new place than I did in there. And now, let's look at this a little bit. It's not about what it looks like on the outside, okay? He says this, in this place I will grant peace. The word that they use in the original language is shalom, which means so much more than what we think of when we hear the word peace. Like, I'll grant you peace. Okay, you'll be calm, you'll be happy, you'll be, right? No, that's not it. Here's what it means. It's an establishment of lasting, righteous good. Establishment of lasting, righteous good. He's talking about Jesus. He's talking about Jesus bringing forgiveness to everyone. What God is saying here, this new temple, it doesn't look like much, but the Messiah is going to be here. The Messiah, Jesus, is going to come to the earth 500 years from now. He's going to come to the earth. And he's going to teach here. He's going to worship here. He's going to hang out here. This is going to be an integral part of his ministry. So this is why it was so important for God to get the people of Israel's attention and get the temple built back up. Because it was part of his bigger plan. So when you go through hard times, God's telling you, be strong, do the work, be strong, do the work, because we have no idea what God is going to do. He say, through this temple, this is where peace is going to come from. Man, if they would have stopped, this was God's plan. They can't stop. Got to keep going. Now, God may have found somebody else to do the work, but don't you want to be the one to do the work? Don't you want to be the one that's in the middle of God's plan, doing what he wants us to do? I do. That's exactly where I want to be. And it's going to be difficult. But he's talking about Jesus here. What he's saying is this: be strong and do the work. Why? Because eternity depends on it. This is where peace and forgiveness is going to come to the world. Be strong, do the work, because eternity depends on it. Why do we keep going when it's difficult? Why do we keep going in our marriage, with our children, at work, with loving your neighbor as yourself? Why do we do it? Because eternity depends on it. So why do we sign up to volunteer? There's a big push for that this month. Because eternity depends on it. Why are we generous with our time, our talents, and our finances? Because eternity depends on it. We have no idea what God will do through our actions. Be strong, do the work, because eternity depends on it. So, what do we do today? Here's what we do. Below, we're going to post a link. The link for our connection card, where you can sign up. You know what? I got to be a part of this. Because if you didn't watch the video last week, you got to go back and watch it. Because we talked about how in this series called The Time Is Now, we are essentially rebuilding the temple here at Gateway. We're getting the volunteer teams back together. We're trying to figure out, okay, who do we have to watch kids and do children's church on Sunday? Who do we have to stand at the door and greet? Who do we have to help in students, Gateway students on Wednesday nights? Who do we have in the band and the production and all of the different areas that we have? Who do we have? Who's on board? Who's comfortable with coming back? Because we've got to build these teams back up so that we can open the doors. Because, look, this year is going to be amazing. What God has been teaching me and teaching our staff through this time, man, I cannot wait to share a lot of it. But what he said is this year, just like that temple, Solomon's temple back in the Old Testament, where people came from all around the world to look at it, to worship God there, I feel like this place is going to be just like that. People are going to come because they've heard about what God is doing in this place. And they're going to come and be a part of it. And it's going to be an exciting year. And I cannot wait to open back up. But we've got to put our teams back together. So what do? We do hard. We do the hard things, right? We make the right decisions. We don't take the easy way out. This is part of what we learned last week as well. But we be strong and we do the work because eternity depends on it. So today, fill out that connection card. Let us know. I'm in. I want to volunteer. We'll contact you this week. And we'll figure out what team maybe is best for you. You can select some teams. But we're going to be strong and we're going to do the work because eternity depends on it. That link down below also is for giving. You can give financially to the ministries here at Gateway. It is not cheap to do what we do. It's expensive. It takes every one of us doing our part. And I'm not shy about talking about money because, man, it's part of worship. We get to do some amazing things. We get to be a part of things. And it's things that we cannot be a part of as individuals, right? We could not do what we do unless all of us came in together and gave a little bit so that we can all take that little bit and do some amazing things here in the community, here in the building, and throughout the world. We had an exciting year last year, financially speaking. We're able to do a whole lot in the community. And part of the reason that we could do a whole lot is because everybody stayed faithful with giving, right? We gave money to Gateway. We had a lot less overhead because we weren't meeting the, utilities were lower, all that kind of stuff. We took every penny that we could and put it back out into the community and did as much as we could. We also made some improvements here in the building so that our online experience is good once we get back in the building. Our online experience, those who aren't comfortable or can't come, the more vulnerable, all the music will be online. It's going to be a great experience, still online. But God told us, listen, prepare, because I got some massive things ready for you in 2021. It's going to take all of us together. So fill out that card, give financially. It's going to be an amazing year this year. So we are going to be strong, do the work. It's not going to be easy. But I want to be right in the middle of God's plan every single time I can. Let's pray. God, I thank you for this opportunity to come and to, again, express and talk about what I've been learning. Lord, what I believe that you've given me for all of us to learn together. I'm excited about 2021 and where we're going to go. I'm excited about the next few weeks as we're putting our teams together. God, thank you for this opportunity that you've given us, for this tool that we have in this building, in this place, in this online community, for us to get back together and to start again the ministries here inside the building that will just explode out into the world. Thank you that we get to do this. We get to be a part of your will and your way right here in this area. Now, God, as we close the service, help us to worship with this last song, Lord. Help us to look at the words and to pray the words and to believe the words. In your name I pray. Amen. Let's worship this last song.
Lord, I come, I confess, and bowing here, I find my rest. And without you, I fall apart, 'cause you're the one that guides my heart. And Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Where sin runs deep, your grace is more. Where grace is found is where you are. And where you are, Lord, I am free. And holiness is Christ in me. And Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. And every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. So teach my song to rise to you when temptation comes my way. When I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. 'Cause Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Oh God, how